Welcome to the magical world of text structure with Mrs. Bostwick. Let's journey on and see what this is all about. Text structure is how the information in a text is organized for the reader. That would be you or me. There are 5 different types of text structure. They are cause and effect, sequence, compare and contrast, problem and solution, and description. Now, boys and girls, I know that this is a lot for you to remember, so I created a jingle just to help you and make it a little easier. Listen as I sing it first, and then you will have a chance to sing it with me. Text structure is the way a text is organized. Text is organized. Text is organized. Text structure is the way a text is organized, and there are 5 main types. Cause and effect, sequence, compare and contrast. Compare and contrast. Compare and contrast. Cause and effect, sequence, compare and contrast, problem and solution, and description. Now, it's your turn. It may not be a little easy or as easy as I did it, but I want you to try. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Text structure is the way a text is organized. Text is organized. Text is organized. Text structure is the way a text is organized, and there are 5 main types. Cause and effect, sequence, compare and contrast. Compare and contrast. Compare and contrast. Cause and effect, sequence, compare and contrast, problems and solutions, and description. Well done. I could hear your melodious voices from here. Keep up. Let's continue on and explore more about each type of text structure. Cause and effect. This is when the author tells how one thing makes something else happen. It can be a good effect or a bad effect. Sometimes there may also be more than one cause and more than one effect. Some signal words to look for are since, because, as a result of, and due to. A real-life example may be a newspaper article about how COVID is spreading and now it is affecting flights to other countries and even other islands in the Bahamas and the tourism industry. Sequence. This is when the author puts the information in a specific order. Some signal words are first, next, then, after, and finally. Real-life examples of a text that is written in sequence are recipes, directions, and even events in history. Compare and contrast. This is when the author shares similarities and differences between two topics. Some signal words to look for are like, unlike, both, similar, and different. A real-life example of this would be a text or a passage about 2 different schools, like Gerald Cash and Sybil Strawn Primary. You can talk about how the schools are the same, 1, they are both schools, and how they are different. 1, they are located in different areas. Problem and solution. This is when the author gives a problem and shares one or more solutions or a way that the problem can be fixed. Some signal words are problem, solution, issue is, and resolved by. A real-life example can be an article about someone who is afraid that when a hurricane comes, it can damage their windows. A solution to that would be for them to properly prepare for the hurricane and trim the trees that are in their yard and even put up hurricane shutters if they can. Description. This is when the author describes something to the reader, often using senses to give a lot of details. And it's up to the reader to determine what he or she thinks is important and sometimes even interesting enough to remember. Some signal words are, for example, such as, including, and specifically. A real life example of this would be a newsletter sent home by your school to your parents giving specific information and strict protocols for you to follow when you return to school once the all clear is given. You are so amazing. Remember, good readers pay attention to the text structure to help deepen their understanding of the text. So it helps you to understand what you are reading even better. Now, before we go, let's sing our jingle one more time. 1, 2, 3, let's go! Text structure is the way a text is organized. Text is organized. Text is organized. Text structure is the way a text is organized. And there are 5 main types. Cause and effect, sequence, compare and contrast. Compare and contrast. Compare and contrast. Cause and effect, sequence, compare and contrast. Problems and solution and description. Woohoo! Way to go! That's a wrap for today. But do remember, practice makes perfect. So keep practicing text structure until you master the skill.